Buenos días, ¿cómo andan? Les doy la bienvenida a la sexta edición de Argentina Fintech Forum. Mi nombre es Mariano Bioca, soy director ejecutivo de la Cámara Argentina Fintech y los estaré acompañando hoy a lo largo del día, eh, presentando cada uno de los paneles espectaculares que tenemos por delante. Esta iniciativa de Argentina Fintech Forum es fruto de una colaboración entre la Cámara Argentina Fintech y también el equipo de CMS, a quienes aprovecho para agradecer públicamente por ayudarnos a hacer esto posible. Por supuesto, también es gracias a los sponsors que nos acompañan y que validan que estemos haciendo esta edición 2023 de nuestro gran evento, que el día de hoy es el día digital y mañana tenemos el día presencial también, así que estamos haciendo realmente un gran evento en los ejes tanto digital como presencial. Quiero detenerme 2 minutos en agradecer a los sponsors porque realmente el nivel de acompañamiento que hemos recibido nos pone muy contentos y orgullosos y de alguna manera validan el norte que le estamos dando no solamente a la Cámara, sino también a estas iniciativas. En la categoría Presented By tenemos a Visa, Citi, Lira y Huawei Cloud. En la categoría Master tenemos a Points Tech Studio, Modo, Movex, Suga, GetNet, Naranja X, Mastercard, Al Préstamo, Mercado Pago, Payway, Walla, Symmetric, Lemon, Matbarrofex, Expandit, Bull Market Brokers, Banza, API Broker, Surfinanzas y Bind. En la categoría Expo tenemos a Complif, Team Quality, OpenPass, Bitso, Personal Pay, Pfizer, Pomelo, Sobos, Elipagos, Sani, Global Processing, Prex, Novacorp, Lend2B y Wine Mobile. En la categoría Startup tenemos a Marval. En la categoría Apoyo Comercial a WeWork, BigClever, Bismart, Geopagos y Lupa Studio. Me tomé un ratito para comentarles, hacer un agradecimiento especial a los sponsors porque, como habrán escuchado, la cantidad y calidad de empresas y organizaciones que nos están acompañando, realmente es muy relevante y estamos agradecidísimos por apuntalarnos y acompañarnos en este gran proyecto que es Argentina Fintech Forum y, por supuesto, el gran proyecto que es la Cámara en todo lo que estamos haciendo. Como les decía hace un ratito, tenemos una agenda de 2 días por delante. Tenemos speakers nacionales, internacionales, que nos van a permitir ir abordando distintos temas de agenda, algunos tecnológicos, otros más de negocio, otros más regulatorios, pero siempre poniendo foco en aquellos temas que realmente son relevantes para el desarrollo de la industria de tecnología financiera. Y aquí quiero hacer una pequeña nota, nota de pie. Hace poco más de 6 años, justo 6 años y una semana, para ser exactos, cuando se fundaba la Cámara Argentina Fintech, un puñado de startups se empezaba a organizar para, empezar a construir un núcleo, ¿no? Empezar a construir una agenda conjunta y, ir generando distintos proyectos de manera coordinada. Y hoy estamos hablando de una cámara que agrupa casi 250 empresas que generan empleo para decenas de miles de personas, que eso va a ser uno de los temas de los cuales vamos a hablar también en el evento, y ha logrado un peso realmente sistémico y muy relevante en el sistema financiero argentino, ¿no? Hoy cuando vemos la influencia, la relevancia que tienen las cuentas fintech en el mundo de las transferencias, es impresionante la cantidad de personas que hoy acceden al crédito gracias a una solución fintech, la cantidad de cuentas de inversión, que son varios temas que vamos a ir hablando a lo largo del día, pero no quiero dejar de mencionar cómo lo que arrancó siendo un conjunto de empresas en sus etapas iniciales, hoy se ha transformado en realmente la industria y el sector que no solamente está transformando el sistema financiero argentino, sino que también mediante la tecnología empieza a generar distintas vinculaciones y alianzas con otros sectores de la economía que también va a ser algunas cosas que hablaremos a lo largo del día. Dicho esto, y una última palabra digamos, para esta apertura, creo que FinTech representa mucho de lo que necesitamos como país para dar un paso adelante, ¿no? Para salir fuerte hacia adelante y estar haciendo este evento con esta cantidad de speakers internacionales, nacionales, y con una agenda digital muy nutrida y una agenda presencial mañana también muy nutrida, de alguna manera lo que hace es ratificar nuestro compromiso y nuestra visión a mediano y largo plazo de que realmente esta industria tiene un presente sumamente interesante y un futuro muy alentador. Así que bueno, gracias por conectarse. Es para nosotros un gusto que nos acompañen hoy del otro lado de la pantalla. Y para arrancar la jornada, ya pasando a la agenda, vamos a tener un mano a mano entre Ignacio Plaza, que es el presidente de la Cámara Argentina Fintech y además un reconocido venture capitalist, managing partner de Draper Cygnus VC, una conversación mano a mano con Tim Draper, que Tim Draper es una de las personas uno de los inversores más relevantes del mundo, que tuvo algunos casos de éxito realmente brutales de esas empresas que están cambiando el mundo, como puede ser PayPal o Tesla. Y este mano a mano, básicamente, de lo que vamos a hablar es cuál es la perspectiva de él, que es una persona realmente global, cuál es la perspectiva de FinTech y de cripto, tanto en Argentina como en la región. Así que, Ignacio, Tim, les damos la bienvenida. Arrancamos con su primera charla mano a mano de Argentina Fintech Forum 2023.
Fantastic. So good morning, everyone. We are here. We have the honor to have here the legendary Tim Draper, one of the most amazing, awesome venture capitalists in the world. And I have the honor to have him as a partner in Draper Cygnus. So welcome, Tim, to the Argentina Fintech Forum 2023. As president of the Argentina Chamber, I'm very thrilled to have you here, and I'd like to go right into the interview. This is an interview. Everybody is looking at you, thousands of people, and both entrepreneurs, regulators, large companies that are backing our institution. Everybody's interested to have your insights. And I'd like to start talking about your background. Most of the people know a lot about you, and everybody knows that you backed Elon, Tesla, SpaceX, legendary companies. And in the fintech industry, which is our industry now, we are in this fintech event, you back Coinbase and also Robinhood, for example, probably many others. So many companies. You back thousands of companies. You built a very large firm like DFJ, like a 10 billion firm, 40 unicorns. This is awesome, but those who know you know that you are not here for the money. You are like in a mission, like you are like an ambassador of entrepreneurship. You have the Draper University, the Draper, Meet the Drapers TV show. You are traveling all over the world constantly, trying to give a message of how to build a better future. And the question is, the first thing I'd like to know is, what motivates you? What is the most satisfying thing you get from here? What you expect to get from this mission?
Terrific. Well, Nacho, thank you so much for having me to the Argentine Fintech Forum. I'm honored to be here. I love having you as a partner. I think Draper Cygnus and Draper Associates are a match made in heaven. We have really had an extraordinary experience together, and I think I hope for many more years, where we where we keep exchanging ideas and businesses and startups and entrepreneurs and all of that. We are, I have a mission, that is true. My mission is to spread entrepreneurship and venture capital around the world, because my grandfather was the first Silicon Valley venture capitalist. My father was a pioneer in venture capital. And I have seen what happened in the Silicon Valley when venture capital gave people so much opportunity, so much hope, so many different ways to innovate, so much freedom. And I realized that was something that was not available to people around the world. And I realized that freedom and that trust that comes with a freedom is unique. And so I felt like we really need to spread that concept around the world. And we have done so. I was the first Silicon Valley investor to go to China, for instance, and was able to invest in Baidu. I was the first one to go to Eastern Europe, and we invested in Skype. And I realized that entrepreneurship can be anywhere. And I'm looking forward to, we were so close. We almost had a Latin American unicorn, and we're getting there. And hopefully in the next couple of years, we'll you and I will fund a unicorn. But our business is really to get those companies started. So I was the first check into Tesla and the first outside check into SpaceX, the first institutional check into Baidu, the first check into Skype. And we do that because if you write the first check, a lot of things happen. All of a sudden, the entrepreneur feels like, hey, somebody believes in me. Now I've got to make it happen. And so I think there's some real value to writing that first check. It's riskier, of course, but it turns out that over time it has really paid off for us. I love venture capital. It's the capitalist system is so much better than any socialist system. If you have trust in your currency, if you have trust in your government, trust throughout the country is available. And with trust, you can build a very free country. I noticed that the great leaders of the world are the ones who trust their people and set them free. And the weak leaders are the ones who try to control everybody and restrict everything they do. Good example is Korea. It was separated right in half, North and South, after the Korean War, and the North took on socialist, Marxist, communist philosophies, and where the government told everybody what to do. And the South was democracy and wide open and free speech, free markets, all of that. And now it's been 70 years with that experiment. And the average South Korean now makes 460 times what the average North Korean makes in a year. And the average South Korean is now 4 inches taller than the average North Korean. So clearly, freedom and capitalism and democracy really work. They allow individuals to flourish. And one of the reasons I like Bitcoin so much is that it's decentralized and it's free and it's trusted and it's anywhere. You're not relying on one centralized system that can overprint money or just be not trustworthy or whatever. And Argentina, amongst all the countries in the world, should know this best, that that having a centralized system, a central government, a central bank can really backfire. That centralized system can borrow, and then the banks own the country, and the country is always spinning its wheels trying to get out of it. Then they print money, and then that money inflates, and so the money you have is worth less. It's like a hamster wheel that never ends. Whereas with Bitcoin, anyone can go build a business, grow it in Bitcoin, pay their taxes in Bitcoin, keep perfect records in Bitcoin, have smart contracts done in Bitcoin, and the economy can grow like crazy. And I do remember talking to President Macri about this, and I said, look, if you make Bitcoin a national currency, you'll be able to pay back the IMF. Your economy will grow at an extraordinary rate. You'll send a message to entrepreneurs everywhere that you're open for business. I think there are some amazing things that can happen when a government trusts the people. They trust the private sector, and they set them free, and they don't overregulate. They just say, go invent, go experiment, go make something happen. And then the economy is going to grow at an extraordinary rate. The difference between freedom and government control is if you're under government control, your head's down, and you don't want anybody you don't want to mess with anything, and you don't want to try anything new, and it's scary. And that's kind of what Russia is like right now, and I'm afraid that's what China is like right now. But if you're free, you think of all sorts of things, and you create all sorts of things, and you innovate in many ways, and you create better experiences for your customers, for your community, for your government, for everybody. And so I think, whoever ends up winning the election in Argentina, I hope they are the strong leader, the leader who trusts their people and set them free, rather than the weak leader who's trying to control everybody. President Xi is a very weak leader, and he's taken an economy that was booming at 8-9% a year, and it was free and open, and he's turned it into a flatline economy in China. Another central control country is Russia, and President Putin just decided he was going to invade another country. The people don't want to invade another country. They don't want a war. And so why are they invading another country? Well, just because that one weak leader. So you want a strong leader. I hope these two who are running for president are strong leaders who trust the people and set them free, because that trust permeates the entire country. If the trust starts at the top, it permeates the whole country. If there's no trust at the top, nobody trusts anybody, and you have a zero-sum game. But if there's trust, you will have an extraordinary outcome. And I can't wait for this new president of Argentina. I think it's going to make a big impact on the people, the entrepreneurs, everything. I know with the last president, the Argentinians were fleeing to Uruguay, going to a place that was free and open and trusted and trustworthy. Now let's see if we can get Argentina to be that free and open and trustworthy country.
Well, fantastic, Tim. I think it's a great advice. We, of course, as entrepreneurs or an institution that represents entrepreneurs, we've been quite successful as an institution. Our industry is growing a lot. We reach almost 2/3 of the population right now with the services of the fintech industry in Argentina. And of course, we think we can do much more. I mean, do you imagine, in particular, the impact that fintech, Bitcoin, tokenized assets, DeFi, do you envision these technologies as a driver of progress for countries like Argentina, or is only marginal? What do you think?
Yes, similar to what I was talking about before. Bitcoin creates perfect trust because it's all built into the software. You don't need an accountant, an auditor, a bookkeeper. You don't need a tax lawyer. You don't need a transfer agent. With Bitcoin, you have a blockchain that keeps perfect records. So the taxes get paid on time. The people are paid the way they're supposed to be paid. In the U.S., they make a Star Wars movie, and there are 15,000 people that are each supposed to get some amount of money out of each time somebody goes to the movie or pays for the movie. And that accounting is a nightmare and very difficult, and they usually get it wrong. And with Bitcoin, that all that money would fall into people's Bitcoin wallets automatically, just the way the contract was written, and people would be a lot better off. And I think taxes can be paid this way. Government payments can be made this way. So everything's honest, everything's straightforward, and records are kept perfectly. I think that we're going through an anthropological leap forward. We started with trading shells for sheep, then it moved to gold for vegetables, then it moved to the promise of gold for housing, for whatever. And then it was the full faith and credit of a government. And then the governments and the banks kind of got a little too cushy, and the service that they're providing is not worth what we're paying for it. And then there's Bitcoin. And suddenly we've got a new currency. The unbanked, people who can't afford bank accounts because the banks have to comply with so many regulations. They don't take small accounts. So the great thing about the unbanked in Bitcoin is that the unbanked can enter the global economy with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is accepted everywhere. And so the unbanked can be a part of that global economy, even if they don't have enough money to open a bank account.
And
I think, go ahead.
Sorry. Regarding regulation in general, do you believe there is a country like Argentina should imitate, or we have to build our own path? I mean, do you have an idea about that?
Well, when I met with the El Salvadorian government, I got jealous. And I've been in the Silicon Valley, and we're usually not jealous of anybody. But I was jealous because the people there were already talking about all the different ways they can use smart contracts. They were talking about how the blockchain did perfect accounting, how the blockchain paid taxes, how the businesses were run completely automated on the smartphone, how no one was holding any physical currency, how all many Bitcoin entrepreneurs were coming to their country to try new things and innovate. I think that would be a good country to go try to emulate. I know the Central African Republic is also doing that. I think Panama is already starting. About 10 years ago, Japan made Bitcoin a national currency, and they've had political forces pushing it back and forth, but I'm sure they've got some great experience there. And then I know that in the U.S., Wyoming has been very proactive in setting up laws and regulations around cryptocurrency. And I think that would be an interesting model to follow.
I remember your last visit was 2019, yes. You proposed that Bitcoin should go in national currency alongside the peso, like two currencies accepted in the country. I remember Bitcoin was 100,000 pesos at that time. Now it is 30 million pesos per Bitcoin.
I think they could have paid the IMF off just like that. Boom, gone. Your debt,
have to pay in dollars,
debt
not
is
pesos.
gone.
But the IMF wants dollars, not pesos. But well, and anyway, the Bitcoin also went up by tenfold. But do you have an opinion about that? Your opinion changed, or is the same as it was in 2019?
I think, well, I'm actually emboldened. I actually feel like it's going just the way I had expected it to go, where the trust is centraling around Bitcoin, because there were lots of cryptocurrencies at that time that everybody was sort of trusting. But then FTX blew up and people realized that it wasn't just cryptocurrencies. It was decentralized cryptocurrencies that were going to make the big impact on the world. I mean, if you want a centralized currency, you might as well just use the central banks of the governments. And so these cryptocurrencies that were controlled by one person are not healthy. And I don't think they should be promoted or moved forward. But Bitcoin is decentralized. No one person controls any of it. And it's accepted everywhere, and it's transparent. It keeps perfect records. Now they're making it, some of the great entrepreneurs are putting more smart contracts on Bitcoin. And so I think we're going into a period now where it's going to be even more attractive. When I can buy my food, my clothing, and my shelter all in Bitcoin, I am not going to, and if I can pay my taxes, I am not going to want a fiat currency of any kind. I wouldn't want to hold on to it. I mean, I had all these dollars, and the U.S. government decided to print 10 trillion of them, and now every one of those dollars is worth 80 cents. You know, and I know you in Argentina have seen that in spades. I am thinking that as people start to move, and as engineers create more and more of the economy around a Bitcoin economy, and as governments start to recognize that Bitcoin's a great way to get your taxes paid, I think then you're going to see a flood away from fiat currencies and into Bitcoin. And I think it's coming fairly soon. I mean, I can now with OpenNote, I can go buy anything in any store that accepts it.
Right.
I know Lemon created a great wallet for Latin America.
So first check in Lemon and Ripio here. They are members.
First check in Lemon, first check in Ripio. Ripio is also doing incredibly well and creating great economy, great Bitcoin economy down there.
We are running out of time. I think you probably have other meetings also. Do you have a final message for the Argentina fintech, Bitcoin, and crypto industry, and the Argentinians in general?
I think fintech in general is in the process of going through a complete flip, a complete transformation. And that's very exciting for anybody who's an entrepreneur who's going into fintech in any way that they can. I think we've got big opportunities ahead. Dinero is going to be something very different in 10 years. I think there will be even now people are trying to, if somebody gives me some Argentinian pesos, it's like a hot potato. I gotta spend it or sell it or get rid of it somehow. Whereas if you've got Bitcoin, you'll hold on to it, you'll invest it, you'll spend it if you have to. It's a much better way to operate. So I think we're going to see entrepreneurs making it easier to buy things in Bitcoin, to invest Bitcoin, to pay your taxes in Bitcoin. And I'm hoping that the next Draper Cygnus is raised all in Bitcoin. We invested all in Bitcoin. The companies pay their employees and suppliers all in Bitcoin. They all pay their taxes in Bitcoin. The whole thing is on the blockchain, and it keeps perfect records. It's all built on smart contracts, so everybody's paid exactly what they're supposed to be paid at the time they're supposed to be paid it. And I think we would have, I mean, think of how little friction there would be in that kind of an economy. And with less friction, of course, the economy grows much faster. People get more jobs. They get wealthier. They pay more taxes. Governments get wealthier. They pay off their debts. Great things happen. So go forward. Keep doing what you're doing. You want more fintech. You want more Bitcoin. You want all these things to be innovated on, and keep up the good work. I know there's a lot of great technology there in Argentina.
Thank you, Tim. It's a great message, and we hope to have you here next year. Maybe we can have a Meet the Draper show produced here in Argentina.
Oh, I hope we can. We had two in Brazil last time.
Yeah.
Go to Meet the Drapers. Oh, the best way to see it is on Draper TV now. You can watch it on Draper TV or Draper.tv or DraperTV.com. And if any entrepreneurs out there looking and trying to figure out how to get the energy to start a business, Draper University is always a good option.
Working on that. Fantastic, Tim. Thank you very much. Bye.
Great. Thanks, Nacho.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.